So one thing that really helped me was being organised. It sounds like really basic and really simple, but if you're organised, there's a lot of work. There's a lot of readings. There are assignments to do. There are also a lot of kind of guest lectures and stuff that you really, really want to go to because they're super interesting. So being organised, like writing yourself up a kind of timetable, really, really helps. I would also say being organised with your dissertation as well. So I had a vague idea what I wanted to do for my research project, but during Michaelmas term I spent a lot of time, like I dedicated like a few hours a week to really, really reading around the subject, and that really helped me and gave me an advantage when it came to kind of Easter term and writing it up, because I'd already had a lot of the work, the kind of the background information and readings done, so I was able to kind of go straight in with doing the literature review, which then helped to kind of refine my idea even more. So I would say, yeah, be organised, and if you can, get ahead of your research project by reading during Michaelmas term.
First of all, I come from a non-liberal art background, so the most important aspect helping me to success with the program is to ask questions to my supervisor. I think your supervisor will be the most helpful person during your study, but if you don't elaborate your difficulties and concerns you have to him or her, they could not possibly help you. So don't bottle up and afraid to say your weakness to him or her. Let them decide how best you can overcome your difficulties. And the second thing I want to say is you will have a wide range of modules to choose from, actually more than you can take in a year. So choose wisely. I was so eager to attend all the seminars available, and I know the feeling. So you want to focus on the subject you like to write essays and dissertations on. You can always watch the recorded classes at your own leisure, so don't worry about it, even after you finish your program.
So I think what really helped me was actually kind of just being a bit easy on myself and knowing that I'm learning a new discipline. So I think some people might have studied criminology as an undergrad, but I studied law, and that is quite different in a way. The way you write essays is a bit different. So I think at the start I was a bit anxious, thinking that why am I not getting the higher marks and things, but as time went on I really learned that this is a new discipline, so I need to start from kind of like the basics and build it up and learn how someone studying criminology and sociology would write rather than how a legal academic would write. And I think that really helped, because by the end of it I had reached those grades that I wanted, and also felt really confident because I knew that I had mastered a new discipline in a way.
I think that building a relationship with my personal tutor was really effective in keeping me afloat this year. It was very easy to get imposter syndrome because you're sitting alongside people that are used to kind of being the smartest person in the room in a way, or the most knowledgeable person, and I had to let go of the pressure that I placed on myself to have all the knowledge that was available to me. And I shifted my mindset in the middle of the year from being pressured to take in every opportunity that was given to me, and instead seeing the course as an opportunity to contribute something to criminology. It's really easy to forget that the staff in the room are the experts, and that the students alongside you are very knowledgeable in their respective fields, either from their academic backgrounds or their work experience, but you bring something unique to the table to contribute, and holding on to that feeling was really what motivated me to discover the things that I was interested in. And there will be topics spoken about throughout the program and assignments that cater to your interests and strengths, and taking advantage of that will definitely push you through the year.
I'm a huge advocate of clear communication, and I've always believed in that because I was once a journalist, and that gave me a lot of tools in terms of communicating in really simple terms. The more accessible you are, the better. I think that knowledge has to be democratized in those ways, and so if the other person cannot understand what you're saying, you've failed in your goal. I always think that I'm writing for somebody that it's not necessarily a criminologist or necessarily a lawyer, but simply somebody that is interested in that topic and that does not need to have those technical words or does not need to be familiarized with it. And for that reason, I try other people sometimes to proofread my work in order for it to be as simple as possible. When I do that and the other person tells me that they have understood it, then I'm like, I have succeeded in my goal. And so that's something that I apply in every discipline that I develop myself in. And something else that is really, really useful is speaking about it with somebody else, discussing it. Because sometimes the idea pops up in the middle of that discussion. And that's where, you know, the biggest and the brightest and the most wonderful ideas come from that interaction.
I would say certainly from a police officer perspective, or people who are coming to criminology with a more applied criminology experience, it's buying one of these little books about the top 50 ideas in criminology. It will prevent that cognitive dissonance when you're sitting in a lecture hearing about new ideas, but it's about doing all the reading in advance. It's about dipping into some of the penology stuff there that you can do at the Institute as well. And it's also about, when you're making notes and reading in advance, read with a purpose and don't waste your travel time into work, you know, surfing the internet. There is more than enough time in the day to do all the reading. You just got to study with a purpose.
If I had any advice, I think I would say don't be afraid to reach out to people, because when I first started, I was a little bit shy, just kind of trying to find my footing. But once I started reaching out to other students and even professors, like experts in the field who work at the Institute, it's so great to be able to have those conversations. And I think it really started to change my experience. I would say definitely reach out to people. Like, don't be afraid to start those conversations. Ask people about their research, because everyone at the Institute is so passionate about their topic and so knowledgeable. And some of the best conversations I've had have just been, you know, after class, grabbing a coffee with someone, asking them what they're interested in. People are so welcoming and they're so willing to talk about their subject. So for me, that was a really great part of the Cambridge experience.
As a public safety practitioner and law enforcement student in Canada, my mind registered the big picture: to help make Bangladesh a better place, most importantly, a safer place. It was taxing to me the questions such as, what is crime? Who commits it? How do we measure it? How do we control it? And is there a way to prevent it? I had to find a way to deconstruct these matters and increase my criminological comprehension. To get my mind in tune, I feel in Bangladesh there may be a marginal interest in why one should study criminology, but the field is growing, and in my opinion, it will provide opportunities to explore a lot of fertile ground in addressing criminological issues, issues within the criminal justice system and public safety, and contribute towards comparative criminology at the global level.
Well, you know, I would have said years ago, fake it until you make it. That's always been really good for me. But I think self-motivation, especially when you're at the tip of the spear, when you're involved in a community of people who are literally trying to discover sort of the next thing and advance a profession that's as risky as the work that we're doing, it can be a little bit difficult to grab a hold of that mandate and be confident as you move forward that you are in fact an expert. But there is something to be said about recognizing your position in relationship to developments and modernization and doing something new and different and better. And then owning that and sort of being brave and having courage and just putting one foot in front of the other, being motivated to learn something new and be creative in applying, you know, concepts that have been developed elsewhere. That fake it until you make it, for me, has really transformed into, you know, just being an explorer, being a courageous explorer. And I think that's really also critical for this type of program, where it's really driven by research and discovery. You really do have to be that discoverer. So being self-motivated and being confident in your role and sort of recognizing where you are in your career has been helpful for me in recognizing that I am you know, sort of helping to define the future of policing, and it's this work that I'm doing that's going to make the world a better place.
What helped me to be successful in the program is definitely reaching out to others and asking for support when I need it. I think especially when you're approaching a completely new subject, you need to take on tips and guidance from other people, and everybody in the department, students and staff, have been really approachable and helpful. I would also say being organised, making yourself timetables, there is a lot to get through, and like I say, you learn so much in the year that you're here, which is amazing, but it does require really good time management skills. I would say try and get ahead on readings just to save yourself a little bit of stress. And I would also say that getting involved in class discussions was really beneficial for me this year. It can be quite intimidating when you're in kind of a classroom with so many intelligent people, especially people who've been working in the sector for a long time. But everybody is really nice, firstly, and also values different people's opinions. I feel like opening up discussion and having debates and listening to other people's opinions in classes that maybe you haven't thought of before was a really integral part of my learning this year. So I would say don't be afraid to speak up, because you're never going to sound silly, you're here to learn, and other people can help you with that.
I think the most important thing is to start the course with a very open mind. Speak to as many people as possible, both academics, students. It's amazing how much you can learn just from the students themselves having discussions after class. And I think just go completely outside your comfort zone and pick subjects you wouldn't think you'd be interested in, and it's amazing how much you can learn that way.